it's been revealed that former US Ambassador Peter Mandelson, well, he received a personal approval from paedophile Jeffrey Epstein for the purchase of his £7.6 million London pad in Regent's Park. In more emails released by the US Justice Department, the Sun newspaper is tonight reporting that the disgraced former Labour Minister Mandelson, well, he asked Epstein for a loan of £4 million, or at least heavily suggested it, at 3% interest rate. He asked Epstein for advice on whether he should go to the bank and get that. Was it a good interest rate? That revelation is despite reports that Mandelson claimed he barely knew Epstein during the vetting process for the US ambassadorial role. But there's more tonight, because former Prime Minister Golden Brown, the very expert gold trader, has also now urged Keir Starmer to clean up the party and government or risk paying a heavy price. And also breaking tonight, the Deputy Prime Minister, David Lammy, he's joined Angela Rayner in claiming he warns the Prime Minister against appointing Mandelson initially. And here's another kicker. The Telegraph is reporting that those close to Sir Keir Starmer have said he's, quote, devastated about the scandal and is wrestling over whether to continue as Prime Minister, something Downing Street denies, claiming he's committed to delivering for the country. But how can a PM continue when there's a clear coup taking place behind closed doors? This week as well, we've also heard that Angela Rayner could be preparing to launch a leadership bid. And tonight, it looks like the eco-zealot-in-chief Ed Miliband is plotting to run again to be Prime Minister, basing his leadership model on New York's left-wing Mayor Zoran Mamdani. And, let me catch my breath, if that wasn't enough to prove there's a crisis at the very top, it's tonight being reported that Lord Mandelson secured an exit payment from Washington of 3 months' salary when he was given the boot by Starmer and sent back to London with his tail between his legs. Of course, he was sacked by the Foreign Office after he was forced out as ambassador to the US in September. That figure is believed to be anywhere between £38,000 and £55,000. The payout is now thought to being reviewed in the wake of recent revelations. And in just a moment, I'll bring you an exclusive clip of Lord Mandelson, which shows how his judgment may have always been a little bit questionable and perhaps offers a clue as to how he ever landed the damn job in the first place. Former Tory MP Lousie Mensch is with me down the line. Louise, so much going on here. And also, I don't know if you want to comment on the previous conversation about generally good and evil, whether you care about that or not, but what's your take on this absolute chaos?
Well, let's leave good. I think good and evil's been thoroughly well done by your excellent panel there. So I will just duck out of that, as I'm no saint. Let's just leave it at that. I think that you're watching the death throes of Keir Starmer's premiership right now. If people around him, which is usually code for him in journalist speak, are telling the newspapers that he is torn, he is unhappy, etc., etc., this is a man who's on the brink of quitting. And something that we didn't discuss in that little clip there is that, of course, Keir Starmer lost that motion in the House of Commons when the Conservatives put forward a humble address, and all of these documents, not all of which have come out yet, the vetting documents, they are going to be released to the Intelligence and Security Committee, who aren't going to redact them for the general public just because Keir Starmer wants. Originally, he tried to have Number 10 have control, but he lost that battle. So now, is there worse to come? When we say, is Keir Starmer going to quit, we're only thinking about the hits he's taking now, the standard payoff that Mandelson got. What if there is far worse to come about the vetting of Mandelson and how he and his chief of staff shoved it through against the advice of the security services? I don't see how he could possibly survive then. And if I were him, I would quit. It sounds to me like he is worried about what will come out when those vetting documents or lack of vetting documents are released.
Every time your phone connects to public Wi-Fi, anyone nearby could snoop on what you're doing. Hackers can steal your information, passwords, photos, and bank details in just seconds. ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. ExpressVPN is so easy to use. With just one click of a button, you're protected. Streaming, banking, or shopping, you can switch between high-speed servers worldwide in seconds, and your connection never slows down. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Protect your online life today.
And it's amazing to think, Louise, that one of Starmer's last acts as Prime Minister could be what I describe as the treacherous surrender of the Chagos Islands and then whacking taxpayers with a £30 billion bill for the privilege. Ed Miliband tonight is being tipped ahead, actually, of Angela Rayner to try and take Keir Starmer's job. He's apparently basing his leadership campaign, if it does come, on your mayor are you in New York City or New York State? Anyway, Zohan Mamdani, Louise. How's Mamdani getting on in New York?
A bit of both. I've got a place in the city and I'm up in the countryside at the moment. But one thing that Mamdani, who I can't stand and I think is a disaster, one thing that the guy does have, very much like President Trump on the other end of the spectrum, is he's got charisma. He's got pizzazz, he's got star quality. People can't look away. Even Trump was very charmed by Mamdani when he hosted him at the White House. Ed Miliband is nobody's idea of charismatic. Ed Miliband is nobody's idea of dynamic. He is nobody's young hero. He is nobody's young blood. Honestly, if Keir Starmer is looking for a silver lining to the clouds hanging over him, I would say it's that Ed Miliband wants your job. Because if there's one person that most of us would not want instead of Keir Starmer, it's Miliband and or Rayner. And I don't think either of those two are going to succeed him, but it does sound like he is on the verge of quitting. And if there are more damaging revelations about how he absolutely shoved this man through, knowing full well that he was a friend of Epstein's after that conviction for child prostitution, then I think Keir Starmer would be resigning in a much more embarrassing way, even than if he goes right now. So I think we should brace ourselves for a change at the top of the Labour Party and therefore the country.
David Lammy, well, his words anyway, are on the front page of the Sunday Telegraph tomorrow. He says, I warned Starmer about Mandelson. So apparently David Lammy had some great insight which nobody else had. Although this is what David Lammy previously said about Mandelson. Take a look.
Well, Peter Mandelson is a man of considerable expertise. He's the right man for this moment to be our ambassador.
Well, I'm sorry, David Lammy is also another snivelling hypocrite who seemingly can't tell the truth. What is it, David? What's your take on David Lammy being the next Labour leader, Louise?
To David Lammy, his useless career, and he was incredibly undistinguished, was rescued by Starmer, was thrown a lifeline, made Deputy Prime Minister. Now he comes out with this. Well, why didn't you say something about it at the time? Why didn't you stop this appointment then? And I think we're going to see a lot of people going, oh, not me, Gov, you know, I didn't have anything to do with it. I advised him not to do it. The fact is, none of you spoke up. None of you said it was a bad idea. And so all that is happening now is that you just look hypocritical. You just look like you've got no loyalty to your leader when his back's against the wall. And by the way, if you think you're going into number 10 yourself, you're not. The big winner of this is Larry the Downing Street cat, who will add one more Prime Minister that he has outlasted in his 15 years at number 10. Maybe we could just draft him to be Prime Minister. He'd do a better job than any of this lot.
Louise, do you miss politics?
I do. It's so exciting right now. And honestly, you just mentioned about the Chagos deal, which is a disaster. I'm gonna pitch your guest Layla, if she's still there. Please ask Nigel Farage to call President Trump and stop this. Why did President Trump change his mind? We all thought we were going to be rescued by the White House because they cannot give away the Chagos deals without the permission of the United States because of a mutual defense treaty that we both signed. So whoever changed Donald Trump's mind is an idiot. Please change it back. And no matter where you look, whether it's America, whether it's Britain, it's certainly interesting times, as the Chinese proverb has it, isn't it? You can't look away. It's one firework after another. Yes, I am enjoying it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.